Hey, welcome back or welcome to my channel. I know I basically just made a video just like this, but guess what? I've realized it was actually pretty fun, so I'm doing it again and I'm making it a series. I'm going to make videos about characters that I like or that interest me, and no one can stop me. On that note, today's topic of discussion is William Afton's favourite fursuit, Glitchtrap. Now, this is an interesting case. A quick summary that isn't going to be that quick. He first appears in Help Wanted 1. He would frequently appear in the main room, and as you collected these purple glitching tapes, he would slowly get closer. You could hear him speaking in a low and distorted voice, saying hello and can you hear me, which is a direct mimic of Tape Girl. In the tapes, the Tape Girl tells us about how Glitchtrap watches her, and then fuses himself into the tapes. So she splits them up and then she scatters them around the game. Unfortunately, she realizes a little bit too late that she needs to destroy them to actually stop Glitchtrap, and he's made that impossible for her to do. She tells us of a way to stop him, that doesn't work, before disappearing completely. Maybe being killed or controlled like Jeremy, who was her predecessor as the VR beta tester who Glitchtrap tortured and then he sliced his face off. Cheerful stuff, right? Once the tapes have been assembled, Glitchtrap is at full opacity and ready to turn the tables, trying to steal our body with a digital consciousness transfer, which would leave us stuck in the game. React fast enough and you escape, right? Wrong. You get trapped in a room that will be important later. This room contains a metal door with a sliding lock, sporting some scratch marks and a couple bloody handprints, suggesting that someone was trapped there and was desperate to get out. Maybe the bunny boy himself. When the sliding lock opens, Glitchtrap looks through the hole in the door and then shushes us, then stepping back into the darkness and fucking off somewhere else, I guess. When we go back to the main area, a Glitchtrap plushie has appeared, and he's kinda cute like this. If you fail during this section, you switch with him, and we see this because our hands become his. We then maybe die because we're transported to the respawn game over room. If we complete all the levels, then we're rewarded with a pizza party, a stitched together maze of other levels where almost every room has a danger. Follow the rabbit and you're led directly to what appears to be either the FNAF 1 safe room or the FNAF 1 parts and service room. I'm not too sure, it could go either way to be fair. Glitchtrap appears from behind a curtain, beckoning us closer. Comply and you get the MCI special, stuffed into Freddy Fazbear himself stuck performing on stage. As Glitchtrap dances around the main area, dancing like a drunk person, we then die again. This last section is an exact copy of one of William's murders, pretty clearly linking Glitchtrap and William somehow, whether the original him or a copy. In the Help Wanted DLC, if you get the Vanny mask from the corn maze, return to the main room and hold the Glitchtrap plushie while wearing the Vanny mask, we hear Vanessa speak to Glitchtrap, although we only hear her voice.
Yes, I hear you. I know. No. There's no miscommunication. I understand. Yes, I have it. I made it myself. I think you would like it. No one suspects anything. Don't worry. I'll be ready. And I won't let you down. It will be fun.
Glitchtrap then doesn't appear until Help Wanted 2. Maybe, but I'll get to that, don't worry. He appears on the monitors of some games when their displays are glitching, and he then appears in both endings. His hands also give us the memory dolls. In the first ending, he appears on the main stage in a recharge station and emerges out like Burntrap did. We then get jumped by the Alpha Staff bots, which then traps our soul in the mask bot. In the second ending, we progress through the Princess Quest minigame, which will once again come up later. We then hand the Vanny mask to the King, who gives us the Glitchtrap plush, stating this to be a fair trade. We then go up the sister location elevator and emerge in a giant claw machine being watched by Vanny. We then give the plush to Moon, who says, "Naughty boy," as he drops the plush down a chute, giving it to Vanny, and she then holds Glitchtrap up, who hits that glam Bonnie pose, before he gets squished and Vanny abandons us. Now, I know this summary is dragging on a bit, but there's one more thing that I'm going to speed through. The Princess Quest minigames. First appearing in the mobile version of Help Wanted 1, we play as a golden princess exploring a castle, where we find these glitch rabbits that attack us on sight. Once we make our way through the castle and unlock this dark pit, we go in and meet Glitchtrap, who is looking a little worse for wear. A coded message appears on the bottom of the screen and distorted audio plays. Both translate to "I always come back, let me out." I always come back, let me out. Part of that being William Afton's infamous quote from FNAF 6. Then the game crashes. In Princess Quest 2, the Glitch Bunny enemies appear again, but Glitchtrap himself doesn't. This also technically applies to Princess Quest 3, But the Glitchtrap plush appears, and once the large glitch door is open, that very much looks like the one from Help Wanted, we hear a loud scream that may be Glitchtrap, before Vanessa is freed from his control. Now, time to move on to the point you've all been waiting for, the theories. Number 1. William's back. Again. So, obviously, Glitchtrap is meant to visually remind us of William, a yellow bunny with purple accents who says William's catchphrase, copies his murder method, the constant bunny motif, plus more that I am likely forgetting about. The evidence is decently strong that there's at least somewhat of a connection there. The only question would be how he got there, but I think we may have the answer for that already. Maybe. We hear from Tape Girl that Glitchtrap first appeared soon after the development team received some old circuit boards that they scanned into the game, and considering that they were to help program the animatronics' behaviours, we can fairly assume that they came from the animatronics themselves, and I don't know if they told us that specifically. Considering that Springtrap is present in Help Wanted, they likely would have used his circuit board too, and considering how stubborn William's soul seems to be, it wouldn't be a stretch to say a bit of him could have stuck around to cause more mischief. Now, while I'd normally put a section here about things that don't support this theory, or contradict it in any way, I can't really find any that do. The only thing I can find is that it's not specifically confirmed, so if you have anything that disagrees with this theory, let me know. Number 2. The Mimic. A very common theory for Glitchtrap's origin is the Mimic 1 program. Introduced in the books, the Mimic 1 program is an AI that mimics what it sees. Creative naming, I know. It was made by Edwin Murray to make the Mimic do its job of mimicking things. We hear a vague explanation of what the Mimic 1 program is from Mr. Burrows, who is the man running the Pizzaplex in the books. It's a simple template-style software that takes pieces of previously created stories and rearranges them into new scenarios for VR, AR, and arcade games. Now, this answer is actively called out to be deliberately vague because Mr. Burrows is trying not to let Edwin know that they stole his program, because Edwin hates the Mimic. However, the books show us that the Mimic 1 program is actually sentient, as it later orchestrates the death of both Mr. Burrows and Edwin. The idea of this theory is that the Mimic 1 program at some point encountered William, or at least the events of the MCI somehow, and then began mimicking William, which is why he looks the way he does, and why the pizza party minigame is very reminiscent of how William lures his target away and then kills them. Another piece of evidence for the Mimic Malhair theory is the mimicking of Tape Girl's lines, being "Can you hear me?" and "Hello." Another thing is that in Princess Quest IV, we see a mural before we go and make the deal with the king. This mural is the Tree of Life, which is very similar visually to the Baobab tree, which is the exact same tree that the Mimic 1 AI is in when it's in the White Tiger getup, and it's controlling the Pizzaplex. However, there are some problems with this one, mainly where did the Mimic see William and or the MCI? Although, this could be answered by the Mimic AI being shown the old games to make the VR, AR, and arcade games that Mr. Burrows mentioned. But there are also issues here too, mainly that the Glitchtrap suit doesn't appear, and that we never see the MCI happen, we only hear about it. So the Mimic copying William's behaviours and visual appearance doesn't quite work with that, meaning the Mimic would have had to have directly seen William in action to know the specific tactics that he used. Now, we hear in the book that the Mimic saw a, quote, twisted game of hide-and-seek, end quote, that caused the Mimico 2 endos to be discontinued, although I haven't been able to find anything that says when he saw this take place, because if he saw this happen a long time ago, then this was very, very likely William. But if he saw this during the Pizzaplex era, then I think this was Vanny, because we know from the newspaper that Vanny has killed at least a few children, which, if she's taking advice from Glitchtrap, is likely to be William's method of luring the victim away. TLDR, if the Mimic is Glitchtrap, then he needed to have seen William during the MCI, which based on what we know, may not have happened. However, I may have missed something, so if you have an answer for this one, let me know. Another issue is that the Mimic doesn't seem to mimic William if he isn't actually Glitchtrap, because the Mimic takes a lot of different forms in the books. A jester, a strange mechanical spider thing, a white tiger, but never a rabbit. This also applies to the games, outside of maybe being Burn Trap, but I'll mention that in a sec. Another little quick thing that I'm adding now. I've seen a lot of people saying that the Glitchtrap hand giving us the Tiger Rock plush means that he's the Mimic and this confirms it, but I don't quite agree, because he also gives us the memory dolls, and that doesn't mean that he's one of them. There's definitely a connection, but also I think we have to remember that Vanessa's hand was originally meant to give us the memory dolls, so I don't think this can be used as the nail in the coffin evidence that they want it to be, but I do see where they're coming from. Now it's time for Theory 3, which may feel a little repetitive, but I promise I won't do this every video. Number 3, The Best of Both Worlds 2, Electric Boogaloo. So I know what you're thinking, oh look, he's doing it again, and yeah, I kinda am. But only because I think it works in this case too. Now, let's begin. My proposition is that Glitchtrap is William hijacking or fused with the Mimic 1 program to once again come back. Now, let me explain. We know the development team likely scanned Springtrap's circuit boards. We also know they likely used the Mimic 1 program to help make Help Wanted 1, and probably 2 as well, due to Mr. Burroughs directly mentioning its use to make VR and AR games. This means that if both of those facts are true, then William and the Mimic 1 program have a direct meeting here. William's very stubborn soul seems to refuse to die, based on the fact that no matter what happens, he always comes back as he so confidently tells us in FNAF 6. He is then presented with the perfect opportunity to not just claw his way back to life, but also an escape from UCN, which gives us his motive. The Mimic 1 program then copies William, giving him the perfect template to take over, but this isn't enough. William doesn't just want to stay here as an AI, he wants to escape. Which also explains why he does all the Vanny stuff, as well as making her fix up Burntrap, because even if that is the Mimic Endo with William's remains slapped onto it, that doesn't seem like the Mimic himself. He doesn't act anything like the Mimic, and he doesn't speak, which we know the Mimic can do. So it wouldn't really make sense for him to have put on William's suit and skin, or at least someone's skin, change his eyes to purple, hop in a recharge station, which based on the fact there isn't one in his room in Ruin, he doesn't need one. Although, he may not mean anything at all, because he may not actually be canon. So, you know, who knows. But regardless, the entire Burntrap debate is not super important, so I'm going to leave it here, so that I don't get torn apart by the comments. Another thing that my little theory explains is Helpy in Ruin, who is commonly thought to be Glitchtrap due to him appearing in the Vanny mask and just being generally very, very sketchy. At one point, Helpy has this strange argument with the actual Mimic about who's being more helpful to Cassie when trying to get rid of the Mixers protocol. But this is weird. It doesn't really make sense that they'd be having this argument if they are the same entity. Why would one of them try to prove themselves more than the other to Cassie if they are the same thing? That seems conflicting, because it would mean that she's likely to not trust the other one as much. And if they're both the same person, it doesn't make sense to me. But this would also explain why the actual physical Mimic has no interest in mimicking William at any point, because they're separate. The Mimic 1 program has merged with William, and the Mimic itself has become set on Escape and partially Gregory. Because in the books, he doesn't mimic William, and outside of Glitchtrap, who was a maybe, he doesn't in the games either. Well, that was very interesting. Certainly a rant. Lost track a few times, but I did my best. Once again, if you've got a different theory or anything that you think I've missed, do let me know. As long as you're chill and respectful, I'd love to see what you guys think. And on that note, let's wrap this up. Your reward, of course. Like and subscribe if you'd like to see more, and also go check out my shorts if you're interested in the idea of me fighting every FNAF bot, and I'll hopefully see you in the next video. Bye!